Welcome to episode 2 of Explaining Financial Literacy. Today, we will be expanding on two key pillars of financial literacy, which are earnings, saving, and budgeting. Many of us think that we can only start earning money when we are much older. However, that is not the case. According to the Ministry of Manpower, teenagers as young as 13 years old can start working. However, teenagers aged 13 to 15 years old can only work 6-hour shifts daily. These 6 hours also include their time spent in school. Generally, we spend about 5 hours in school every day, not to mention our co-curricular activities. This leaves little to no time at all for outside work. Hence, we need to start getting creative on how we can start earning money at a young age. Since our home has no helpers, I often help my parents sweep the floors and wash the toilets of our house. Occasionally, I also help my father conduct table tennis training sessions with my siblings. This is one way that you can start generating income at a young age, whereby you offer to help your neighbors and your relatives out of simple chores for a small fee. Another way you can start earning money is to offer to help your neighbors walk their dogs while they are away at work. This is yet another way for you to start generating income and for you to build your wealth. Now, let's move on to savings. There are actually two types of savings. One is trying to find discounts for what you like to do, and another kind of savings is saving your money for a rainy day. Now, let's start with getting a discount. Today, my family went out to a steakhouse to celebrate Father's Day. Through various food apps, we found out that if we dine in at a restaurant during non-peak hours, we could enjoy a 50% discount on our final bill. This shows that saving isn't simply cutting out the things that bring you joy to cut costs, but finding ways to do the same things that you enjoy but at a lower cost. Now, let's move on to the second type of savings, which is saving for the future and for a rainy day. A part of saving for the future is saving a portion of your money every day for, let's say, an emergency fund or big ticket purchase items such as a car or a house. Of course, no one intends to get into an accident, but in the unfortunate case that it happens, it is imperative that we have funds immediately on hand to deal with emergency costs such as hospital bills and insurance. Finally, let's move on to the last section of this video, which is budgeting. When budgeting our money, we must remember two key things. One, which is to live within our means, and two, is to not overspend. When budgeting, it is important that we prioritize our needs, such as paying for food, utilities, and transport. However, it is also important that we set aside some money for personal pleasures. For example, I always allocate a portion of my savings and my allowance to buy in-game items from my favorite games such as Roblox and Minecraft. To round off this episode, I'll be asking my dad some questions pertaining to financial literacy. So for the first question, are you supportive of students working while studying?
I most definitely am supportive of students working and studying so long as their studies don't suffer. Being able to hold down a job is going to teach students a lot of things, such as having new responsibilities, learning how to interact with an older person who is not a friend or family member, and most importantly, how to honor the commitments that they make to a third party. And whatever earnings they have now will go a long way towards that special something they wish to buy for themselves in the future or for investments further down the road.
So for the next question, do you think students should accept the first job that's offered to them?
I think what a student should do is to decide how they best want to spend their time. From the richest person on earth to the poorest person on earth, we all have the same commodity, which is 24 hours in a day. How you decide to spend those 24 hours is going to affect your earning potential greatly. So this actually brings about the topic of opportunity cost And if you like the videos that we're doing, like and subscribe, and we'll do another video on the topic of opportunity cost. Now, on to my suggestion. What I suggest students to do is make a list, one, of the things you like to do or the jobs that you're qualified to do, and secondly, make a list of your restrictions. For example, most students in Singapore wouldn't be able to work mornings because we start school relatively early. So maybe you'll say, I can only work weekends. And then take that and look, explore what fits both criteria, what fits your restriction and fits what you're qualified and like to do, and pick the one that you're most happy with and which gives you the best remuneration.
Now for the last question, how do you feel about celebrating Father's Day early?
Well, I was very happy about it. I was very happy that we got a good discount and the food tasted just as good as on any other day.
If you like the videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll be sure to add more soon.